right now. And I'll tell you, just, because I know we have a lot of new folks at Murray Hills, we do kids ministry just a little bit differently. So our toddlers go to kids ministry the whole hour. And then once they hit kindergarten, we like them to come into the service with us. And we want to be able to worship together with their families, to take communion together with their families. And so kindergarten through fourth grade are down that way. And they've got, it's right before the sermon, age-specific teaching for them. And we do that in both services. And then 5th through 12th grade is this way. And we only do that in this service. And, some people are like, why do you only do it in one service, the student ministry? Well, it's because when they hit adolescence, community is everything. I mean, at 2nd grade, you say, go to class. At 6th grade, you say, go to class. And they say, who's going to be there? Is Johnny going to be there? Is Billy going to be there? Who's going to be there? And so we're trying to build community in that student ministry. And so Todd is like, we got to have them all together at the same time. That way, all the friends are there at the same time, and there's no so-and-so's in one service or with this service, that kind of thing. So we do that all together in the student ministry at this service. But we also have other options for that as well, because some of the students, they different levels of maturity, and some of them are like, I prefer to stay in worship. I prefer to stay in for this teaching, that kind of thing. And so we have Sunday night services for kids as well. And he does a Wednesday night Bible study for kids. So there's a lot of options there. But he's going to explain all that next Sunday. And what I need you to do, if you've got a parent of a 5th through 12th grader, I need you to come 30 minutes early next Sunday. So we're going to have a parent meeting in between services. It starts at 10:40, but for your purposes, just think 10:30. Okay, so I need you to come at 10:30 next week. So we're in the student ministry wing, and Todd's going to explain, here's how we do all our meetings, and here's how to get on the email list, and here's the group me if you want to get involved in that, like how they communicate and all that stuff. So that's a parent meeting in between services, so 10:40 to 11 next Sunday. I need to mention the offering. I'm just going to put it on the screen, and most of you give electronically, but if you're giving today, that's the text number there. You can give through that. You can give through the online, and you can download that Church Center app and give that way as well. Today is Hope Sunday, and we're going to emphasize kind of what's been going on with Hope Center Ministry. So I'm giving up one of my movies in the movie series. We just finished that series, and I usually do 4. I did 3 because I wanted to do a Sunday just to talk about Hope Center. Hope Center is a huge ministry at this church, and a lot of us know what's going on there, and a lot of us don't. So I'm going to kind of bring you up to speed, and then Ricky and Bobby and Joseph and Parker will bring you up to speed as well. So I'm going to share most of my time let those guys have most of my time today. But Hope Center started about 1.5 years ago. And really, you got to go back 2 years. This church was debt-free, and we were looking for a ministry to support. And we were trying to figure out what ministry that would be. Our elders spent 1 year doing that. We met with different nonprofits, prayed about it, and just 1 year doing research. And basically, long story short, Hope Center Ministries emerged as this is something we want to support. This is an incredible ministry. There's no family not affected by addiction. It is no respecter of persons, no respecter of family. It doesn't matter. And we felt, just convicted when we met with Carson and Stephen Paulk and Jeff Gandy and others. We just felt convicted this is what we needed to do. So at the end of 2022, we raised $300,000 to start a Hope Center in Columbia. And that money was used to purchase a home, which is a beautiful home. It sits on 5 acres with a pond. It's a great, a retreat-like setting out there. So purchased a home with that money, bought 2 vans with that money, and hired Ricky Bobby with that money. So the executive director is Ricky, the recovery pastor is Bobby. Yes, our staff at Hope Center is Ricky Bobby. And I put that in my email this week, and not a single person replied. I used the hashtag shake and bake in my email. Not a single person replied to me. So you either do not appreciate my taste in movies, or you don't read my emails. That's, and we don't, I do need to clarify this. Ricky and Bobby don't work for the church. Hope Center Ministries is its own nonprofit. So we don't have the deed to the house, we don't have the titles to the vans. That Hope Center Ministries is an independent nonprofit. We are simply a church partner. So we come alongside them to say, we're here to support you and the work that you're doing. And that's the role of this church. So we don't run it because they know how to run it. And so don't ever come to me and go, hey, there's a problem down Hope Center. I need you to take care of this. I don't run it. Go to Ricky. That's who you take your problems to. Ricky runs it, okay? And Ricky's got somebody over him that looks over the region, all that kind of stuff. But we're here just to say, hey, we want to support you. We want to partner. We want to do all we can to help these guys on the recovery journey. So they do it in 3 phases. What I love, some reasons we wanted this program, it's a year-long program. Anybody who's ever wrestled with addiction yourself or has family that's wrestled with addiction, you don't get clean in 30 days. Well, you get clean in 30 days, but you relapse pretty easy after 30 days. So it's a year-long program. Phase 1, they come in, first 30, 45 days. They just work the 12 steps, get adjusted to the house, get adjusted to the routine, do some volunteer work. They work here at the church on Tuesdays and Thursdays, cleaning the church building. Go into vocational training, and this is one of the cool things about this program. They pay for their stay at the house. So one of the big barriers to addiction treatment is the cost. It may cost $20,000, $25,000 a month to go to some of these centers. These guys are paying their way. They call it vocational training, but they're going and working at a place Monday through Friday, a 40-hour work week, and then they're taking that paycheck and it's going all to Hope Center Ministries, which covers the house, covers the insurance, the utilities, the water, the food, the transportation, all of that stuff. So nobody's giving them a handout. They're earning this right here. They're putting the work in and earning their way through this, and I think that's a unique way of doing it. And then phase 3, things start to change because they're getting ready to graduate. And we got some guys, one just graduated. We got another guy just getting ready to graduate in another month here. So start to get to keep your paycheck. Hopefully you come out of that center, you got a little savings built up, you got a job, you got a church family, you got some friendships in the church, and so this can be a place that you're going to be a part of even after you graduate. That's our hope and dream. So I want you to hear a little bit about what's going on. And so Ricky's going to give you just a little update of what's been happening at the center. Bobby's going to talk a little bit about how to get involved, and that's the difference between those two. Ricky's the director, Bobby's recovery pastor, and as a recovery pastor, it's his job to help get volunteers and mentors to help these guys on their journey. And then Parker and Joe are going to talk, and you're going to hear the story of kind of their relationship and how you can easily step into a role that Parker's doing, and then I'll kind of wrap things back up. So, Ricky, it's all you. Round of applause for Ricky. Welcome him.
All right, first I just want to say praise God, and I want to thank Murray Hills. Thank this community for being a part of this and helping support us. Without each of you, none of this is even possible. We couldn't do it without this community. We couldn't do it without this church. And lives are being changed. So a few things that are going on in the center. We currently have 21 men at our location right now. We hold 28 to 30 men. That's 21 men as of right now that come from broken and now have the opportunity to completely change their life. Not only do they have the opportunity to change their life, they have the opportunity to change their life around them, which could be their family, could be their kids. I'll get a little bit of my testimony here in a minute of what it done for me, but it's just an opportunity for these men to build a relationship with Christ and completely do something different with their life. So far this year, we've had 13 baptisms. 12 of those were guys at the center. One of those was Bobby's dad, which was baptized on Father's Day this year here at the church. It was a pretty awesome thing to see. We've had 2 graduates so far. We got another guy graduating, Ryan Morgan. He graduates the 21st. Congratulations to him. He's been a blessing, and it's been such a great thing to see him come through the program. You know, the relationship with his family is awesome. Everything's going forward with that. And then we got Tony. He completes next month. Yes. It's an amazing thing to see a guy come into somewhere and just completely broken, and then to see him walk across this stage. There's nothing better of a feeling in the position me and Bobby are in to see that. That is such an awesome thing to see. One last thing we got going on here soon is we got our gala coming up. It's our annual gala. We do one every year. It'll be September 27th. The gala will consist of a dinner, a silent auction, a live auction, some testimonies, and it'll be a great time to fellowship, time to get to know about Hope Center, time to get to help support us. If you come that would be great. Everything that is raised from this fundraiser goes directly back into our center. It goes directly back into helping these men grow, help this center grow, and help lead more men to Christ. And, you know, that is our main focus, and that's what we want to do. A little bit of my testimony I was going to talk about. I was addicted to meth for 20 years. I spoke on this a little bit before, the first time I spoke up here. I got to the point in my life that I'd lost all hope, that things would ever be different. You know, I was convinced, I done convinced myself that I was just going to do drugs the rest of my life. I tried so many treatment centers. I've tried everything on my own, you know, and that was the difference when I come into Hope Center, was I didn't have to do it on my own anymore. I built a relationship with Jesus, and it completely changed everything. Before, when I was in my addiction, I destroyed my family. I pushed them away more times than I could count. Really, I mean, at the point, I didn't really deserve my family anymore from all the things that I've done. But God is faithful, you know, and there's nothing He cannot restore. One thing I want to talk about this scripture here, and it really stuck with me when I was in the center, was Matthew 18:10-14, and it's the parable of the lost sheep. And when we read this, it talks about leaving the 99 to seek the one. You know, looking back, I can really see that I was the one. Bobby was the one. These men, these 21 men right here, were the one that God plucked out of addiction and came and brought to Hope Center so that He could form a relationship with these guys, so they could form a relationship with Him. On to the end of that scripture, it says that the Father in heaven does not want to see any of these perish. You know, I can see now that I'm this side of what I was doing, how much better things are, and how much that He does not want to see us perish. He does not want to see us the way we was, but the way that we can become the man of God that He called us to be. Let's see. All right. When I surrendered my life to Christ and began to seek a personal relationship with Jesus, my life completely changed. The relationship with my family, my wife and my 3 kids, was completely restored. It was something I never thought would ever happen. Like I said, the things that I'd done, the many times I abandoned them, I didn't never think it was going to be. I never think it was going to be right again. But my wife never gave up. She never gave up hope. She never gave up praying. She's crying, so sorry. She's a strong woman, let's put it that way. You know, the opportunity I've gotten now to be a part of this has completely changed everything. The little things like taking my kids to the dentist, I got to do that last week. Last night I got to take my son to a Titans game, which was, you know, before we left, he said, this is going to be the best day of my life. When we left, he said, this was the best day of my life. So, you know, just to see those things that we took for granted for so long, it's such a blessing. And, you know, being on this side of the aspect of it where I can help other men come from where I was to where they deserve to be. It's such a blessing. So that's about all I got on that. I'm going to introduce Bobby Cummins as our recovery pastor. Without this man right here, it'd be impossible to do this alone. So.
Thank you, brother. I was kind of nervous on the last service. I was walking around, putting my hands in my pocket and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do a little bit better this time. Look, get your hand out of your pocket. Introduce myself. My name is Bobby Cummings. I'm 50 years old, from Houston, Texas. Come from a broken home. My mom and dad divorced when I was 8 years old. That's when my addiction started. Started off using marijuana. Didn't take but 3 years, and I was a full-blown heroin addict at the age of 11. I'm not going to soak too much on my addiction because I could go on for days. But I will tell you this, My addiction led me to doing 25 years behind bars. I was in prison in Louisiana on a 25 to life sentence. Now I'm going to tell you what Jesus did in my life. The judge picked 4 guys out of the whole state of Louisiana to go to a program called Teen Challenge. It's something like our program, but more strict. He said, if you can complete this program and graduate, I'll reduce your sentence. Now, I was on a 25 to life sentence for trafficking. I didn't just graduate, I graduated at the top of my class. I was the only one out of all 4 people. I did 7.5 years, and that was it. He reduced my sentence from 25 to life to 7.5 years in prison. I gave my life to God that year. November the 17th, 2013 is my new birthday. I'll never lose my childlike faith because it keeps me growing every day. As a stubborn man, I lost my way again. Thought I was free. I said, you know what? I got this. You never got it. Never. Once you think you got it, you're giving the devil a foothold, and he's going to kick your door wide open. I promise you. Well, ended up relapsing, going back to prison again. And God put it on this judge's heart in 2020 to not send me back to prison once more. He says, I'm going to give you what God gives you, and I'm going to give you a choice. He said, I'm going to put you on 10 years community corrections. If you decide to go to a rehab, that's your choice. Hope Center Ministries. I went to Hope Center Ministries in Springfield, Tennessee. That's where God put it on my heart, and he said, this is the work that I want you to do. You'd went all them years thinking that you wasn't good enough, that you couldn't be saved because the devil had you in addiction. He said, I want you to show people what I can do through you. Now, he did put some help in my life with counselors like Parker. My counselor's name was Nick Bryant. He is one of my great friends now. He's a brother to me. I talk to him sometimes daily. There ain't a week goes by that I don't talk to him. I build that relationship because I'm not going to be that dog that goes back to his vomit. So I build new relationships. That's what he wants me to do. And he said, I want you to go be a disciple. Preach my word. So that's what I'm doing. I get these guys into the center. They're broken, crushed, burnt so many bridges in their families and their friends that they don't know what to do. So God says, through me, I want you to show them how to be disciples for me, how to have clean, sober fun, how to be the man, the father, the son, the brother, the friend of God that I've made y'all to be. So I want to express to you how important counselors are, mentors are in this program. Like I said a while ago, we've burnt bridges in the world that we lived in that we can't call upon our families because they don't trust us yet. We can't call upon our friends because we've did them wrong. So we need mentors to come in their lives, talk to them. Look, I broke down and cried to my mentor before, because we're releasing all that. We need these mentors for guys to talk to. Yeah, I'm there, but they need somebody that they can go on one-on-one with in their program to talk to, be a friend, be an ear just to listen to them. Give them some good biblical advice. That's what I'm looking for. I've got several guys like Parker, Mr. David, Russ's dad. It's just an hour out of your day, to come out, sit and talk to these guys, spend a little time with them. Aubrey comes out twice a week. I love that man. He's good for these guys. Terry Bunch, but I need more. I've got a bunch of guys that are without counselors, and they're suffering. They need somebody to love on them. I can give as all I give. I mean, I'm a big guy. I can give a lot, but they need a little more. So I ask you, if God puts it upon your heart, if you feel a little bit convicted today, my booth's out front. Come sign your name. Get my card. Give me a call. Hey, I'll walk you through what we need or what you feel like God's leading you to do. I want you to do that. But I'm going to introduce Joe and Parker, have them come up and give a little bit of their story together of what God's doing in their lives together. So, Joe, Parker.
Thank you, Ricky and Bobby. Pastor Russ, thank you. Shaking back. Calm down. If you ain't first, you last. My name is Joseph Maxwell. I'm 36 years old, and I'd like to just share a little bit with y'all about my journey. I began using drugs at the age of 12 years old. What started as a way to fit in quickly became a full-blown addiction. I lost friendships, strained family relationships, and struggled in my career. I felt trapped in darkness and didn't know how to escape. The scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians 10:13 that no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. My escape was honestly the Hope Center. Everything changed in my life 8 months ago when I arrived at the Hope Center Ministries. This place became my sanctuary. I began to explore my faith and develop a relationship with Jesus Christ, finding hope for the first time in years. I met my counselor, Mr. Parker Johnson, who has been instrumental in my recovery. He provided me with tools to comfort my addiction and the pain behind it. With his support, I learned a lot about accountability, self-reflection, and forgiveness. My faith became the cornerstone of my recovery. I started praying, reading the Bible, and attending services, finding strength in my relationship with Jesus. Each day I set small goals, celebrating victories like choosing sobriety and reconnecting with my family. I am no longer defined by my past. I am reclaiming my life and want to help others still caught in addiction. My journey shows and proves that change is possible. God will not look over us for medals, degrees, or diplomas, but for our scars. The Christian does not think God will love us because we're good, but that God will make us good because he loves us all. I am grateful for Ricky and Mr. Bobby and Pastor Russ and the Murray Hills Church and Mr. Parker Johnson, and especially above all my family that has never left me and supported me my whole journey. My life has changed tremendously, and I am excited about the future. Thank y'all for letting me share.
Thanks, Joseph. My name is Parker Johnson. I've been coming to church here for about 5 years, but I do my best to kind of stay in the corner. So never thought I'd be up here on the stage, but here I am. But I'm happy to be here because I do believe in the message today. I believe in the Hope Center. I believe in Joseph, and I believe in all the men sitting here today that are going through the program. But a little bit about myself. So I'm not from here. I'm from North Carolina originally. Moved here 5 years ago. Been going to church here about 4 years ago. Got plugged in, working in the tech booth where I hide in the back about 3 years ago. It's just one way that I like to get involved. I get fulfillment from that way. I can really easily go to church, kind of check the box and go home and just not really get a whole lot out of it. So I found volunteering is really where I kind of the meat and potatoes, I guess, of my faith. Is where I really feel close to God and just truly happy. So that's kind of how I got plugged in at the Hope Center. Russ was talking about 2 years ago is kind of when the roots kind of took place to launch the program, and they had a few like sessions, I guess, if you will, after church where you could come learn more, sign up for things. They were kind of gauging, how it would perform, where they would need more help at. So I had put my name down to volunteer, and that was about a year and a half ago, and I didn't really hear anything from it. They would talk about the Hope Center on Sundays, and I didn't really stick my hand out anymore. I just said, someone else will step up. Someone else is going to do that. Someone a lot more qualified than myself. But then my phone rang in January of this year, and I answer the phone when a number not in my contacts list calls. A lot of people just hit ignore, but I answer it because I just never know who it's going to be. Might be something important. And it turns out it was a man named Ryan McNeil, who was the former recovery pastor at the Hope Center before Bobby. And he had introduced himself, invited me to come out, and immediately I was kind of, admittedly, had a anxiety. I wasn't full steam ahead. I was kind of reserved. I said, man, I'm not qualified. I don't know what I'm doing. This is too much. This is too much time. It's kind of far away from my house. Like, there's a million excuses is what I could have done to not proceed. But you have that call-in where you just know, when you know, and I had that feeling. So I just kind of stuck with it. I went out, agreed to go out to the Hope Center, which is just past Hampshire. So it's a little bit of a drive, but it's a fun drive. But went out and did the onboarding process, watched maybe 5, 6, 7 videos, did a little bit of paperwork, signed up, and within a few weeks, I went out and did a meet and greet with Joseph. It went really well. We just kind of hit it off, have a lot of similarities, and quickly, a lot of that anxiety just kind of went away. You kind of say, like, yeah, I can do this, even for someone like me who's kind of an introvert, kind of wants to sit in the corner. This is not something I do often, is opening up to strangers even. But I went with it, and it's been going amazing. So when I got paired with Joseph, he had already been in the program for a little while. People don't get counselors at day one. I don't know if that's planned or if there's just not enough supply of counselors. So kind of the goal here is to make that happen. There's men back there who don't have a counselor, and they all deserve one. And I know that there's people in the room that are qualified who should be there. And I know that you'll step up. But we got paired together at week 5. We are on chapter 5, rather. Part of the program is doing the story, which is a book. A lot of you are probably familiar. We did a series on it here a few years ago. It's pretty much the Bible, summary, chronological order, and we are now going on chapter 30. So we've had 25 weeks or so together of learning and growing together, and just like every relationship, it's a two-way street. And Joseph's growing, and so am I. It's been really transformative in my own mental headspace, my own relationship with God, my own marriage. I've just become a lot more stress-free, I guess. I work from home. There's some days I don't leave the house. There's some weeks I don't leave the house. So going out to Hampshire to meet with Joe is a pleasure. It's not a chore. It's not checking a box. It is. I'm grateful for that, and I know that people in the room, if you were to sign up, I'm confident you would have the same experience. It's just been transformative. It's been transformative to see Joseph. I brag on him to Kelly, my wife, all the time, and it's just it's inspiring to see. Like I said, the impacts it's had on my own life, but to see them impacting him and his family. He has met my family. I know his, and it's a friendship that I hope extends beyond his graduation date. He graduates in December, but I think what we've built is going to last a lifetime. And some other impacts that it's had on my life is accountability. I think accountability is the word that we say pretty often in the church, and it's something that I think it's used as a word that you're going to take action, but a lot of people actually don't take the accountability. And I was thinking about accountability the other day. It's just one of the words I've written down here as a key word to talk about. And I think it's hard to be accountable with people that you, as opposite as it might sound, as even your spouse or someone that you're comfortable with, it's hard to be uncomfortable with them sometimes. But Joseph and I's relationship is built on faith. That's what brought us together, is this program and growing with God. And I think his presence in our conversation, it takes that anxiety away. It takes the stress out. It lets us be true to ourselves and true to God. And it's just been really changing. I'd probably be shaking a lot worse up here if I haven't had the growth in the last 25 weeks with Joseph. And a little bit more praise on Joe is his praise. He praises God really more than anyone I know. Whenever we start our weekly meeting on Thursdays, it's about 15 minutes. It's just praising all the blessings that's going on in his life, and it's awesome to see. And I just want to see more of it. So, but lastly, I'll talk about our relationship. It started very professional. It started very, how am I going to fill this hour with a conversation? What are we going to talk about that's constructive? How am I going to have a conversation that is benefiting this individual? And now we can talk for 3 hours, and it's just like that. And it's I don't have that relationship with a lot of people. So if there's anyone out there who might want that type of relationship, I truly think that this is a place that you'll, one, find it, but you're really going to be transforming someone else's life just as much as your own. And as far as, I'll finish with just an invitation, kind of echoing Bobby's words is, a lot of people out there are probably feeling convicted. I think you all know who you are. You feel it in your heart, and it's easy to have those feelings, and it's easy to ignore them. What's hard is actually taking the action and taking each step after that, but it's worth it. So please go to the booth after the service, even if it's just to ask some questions. It'll be greatly appreciated. So that's what I'll finish with.
Great job, Chris. About 3 years ago, Parker asked me, I'm going to tell your story, but 3 years ago he asked me, he said, hey, is there anywhere I can volunteer in the church where I don't have to talk to anybody? And I said, the sound booth. And so for 3 years he's been running the screen on Sunday mornings in the sound booth. And then about 3 weeks ago, he said, hey, how do we get more volunteers at Hope Center? Like this, we got guys that need counselors. We got guys that need mentors, and how do we get them? I was like, you want to speak on stage about it? And he hesitated about 5 seconds. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm just telling you that to say this is how much this means to him. This is what it means to him. This is a guy that don't want to talk to anybody, that's willing to get out of his comfort zone and stand up here and say, hey, we need you here. And we're not the only church that does this. I do want to mention, the guys go to the Edge Church on Wednesday nights because we don't have a Wednesday night service. They go over there with Pastor Matt McKnight. We're thankful for their partnership. They're a very different church than Murray Hills, but we agree on Christ, and that's what matters. And we're thankful for that church and that partnership. So there, if you may be convicted today to go, I want to do this. You may also go, I got a buddy that I know would be interested in this. I got a buddy at another church that we need to get to that church, and we need to get, and these guys will go and meet with their pastors, meet with their deacons, elders, whatever that is. So here's how you can get involved, and we'll wrap this up. Number one, you may not be able to give of your time right now, but you can give financially. And so Ricky mentioned the Hope Center Gala coming up. It's September 27th. We're looking for people to buy tables. They're only $600. You can get a corporate level sponsorship. It starts at $1,000 and moves its way up to $15,000. Or you can donate items to the silent auction. So if you own a business, you might think, hey, yeah, I got something we could donate, or the live auction too. I got something we can donate to the auction. Or what I told the first service was, go to Electronic Express and buy an 85-inch TV and donate it to us, and we'll auction that off, okay? If you've got a condo in Florida and you're like, yeah, we could auction that off for somebody to take a week at our condo, we'll auction that off. So you just talk to Ricky about that if you can help financially. But then the appeal is really to the men, and the Hope Center rules, obviously the mentor's got to be male, and you understand why, but we need men who are willing to step up and be mentors. And you say, well, I'm not really qualified. I've never really wrestled with addiction. I've never really served time. Neither has Parker, neither has Terry, neither has Aubrey. They're just guys that said, I got a heart for this and I'm willing to do it. And they stepped out of their comfort zone and said, all right, what do I do? And we're not asking you to be their addiction counselor. We're asking you to be just a common faith in Jesus, and we're just going to disciple you. I mean, it's a discipleship program, as Bobby said in the first service. It's a discipleship program more than anything. So you just, as long as you're clean and sober and you love Jesus Christ, you're qualified. That's pretty much it. You're qualified to be a counselor if you're clean and sober yourself and you love Jesus Christ. You're qualified. And so we need guys that are willing to do that. And Bobby mentioned, and Parker mentioned, he's going to be outside in the lobby. Just go talk to him, find out what that entails. Several women have asked, how do we get involved? We want to help. How do we get involved? And there are some limited opportunities. Some of the ladies have helped with meals, so bringing meals out to the guys or helping out with some meals. Some of them have helped with, some guys come into the center and don't have much. They may be coming straight from prison, and so they, need somebody to I'll help get some toiletries. I'll help, I'll run to Walmart and what size pants they wear and that kind of stuff. So that kind of thing. Rob even mentioned to me after this one, his wife's doing, we give a quilt to every guy when they graduate, a handmade quilt. And so there's a group that meets here. I don't know if it's weekly or every other week or something. There's a group of ladies that meet here and work on those quilts. And that's really a powerful thing, because you're giving them something that the church has made to say, we want you to have this and support you in your journey. So those are all ways. But the biggest way you can do it, and Bobby and I joked about this, but it's not really a joke. The biggest thing you can do is tell your husband to get involved in the center. So, because what's going to happen is they're going to be in the car, you're going to be at lunch today, and they're going to go, I'm kind of interested in that, but I don't know if I'm qualified to do it. We need wives to say, yes, you are. You can do this, and you're needed, and this might be the opportunity. This might be what God's calling you to. And God's not calling everybody to this. We understand that, but at this particular Sunday, we're just emphasizing this ministry, and this may be a place that you can plug in. So I'm going to say a word of prayer over these guys, and I do want to say thank you to Ricky and to Bobby. They are on the front lines of ministry. I get to see their world just a little bit every now and then, and they are on the front lines of ministry. I got to be careful what I say in this service, because this one's recorded for all time. But there was a situation that happened a couple weeks ago, and me and one of our elders worked through, And I left that situation, but boy, I'm thankful for these guys because they're engaged in spiritual warfare, and that demon of addiction is strong. And I just appreciate what you guys are doing. So let me say a word of prayer, and we'll be dismissed. Father, I want to lift Bobby up to you, and I want to lift Ricky up to you. And they are, I just give them strength, give them perseverance, help bring jobs to these guys. I know Ricky's out knocking on doors looking for jobs for these guys. Help bring a counselor to these guys, and Bobby's out knocking on doors of this church and other churches to try to find counselors for these guys. Just raise up the volunteers that they need for this. And the guys that are working through the journey of recovery, that just be with them. Give them the perseverance to take it one day at a time. There's going to be good days, going to be bad days. There's going to be good moments, going to be bad moments. And just give them the perseverance to not quit and to not give up, to run the race with endurance and to run the race with perseverance. And God, I pray for this church. I pray that we would continue to do all we can to be good partners and good supporters of this ministry. And we pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Next week, we're doing 1 Corinthians, and I'll introduce all that next Sunday. But thanks for being here today, and if you get a chance, go out there to the front lobby.